Coming up on Mountain News this morning, child safety is being stressed in Perry County after two apparent abduction attempts. And a new bill aims to add safeguards for student athletes reporting abuse.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, Mountain family. My name is Amelia Lee, here with you on this beautiful Wednesday morning, and the time is 5:30. It's also time to check on in with meteorologist Megan Dusmal for a look at that forecast this morning. Megan, I know we are in that first alert weather day today, and I know we've had some rain, we've had snow, we've had all of that going on. So what can we expect today for our weather?
Well, we already have standing water in several places across the region. We've gotten several photos sent in of standing water in backyards, rising river water, and there's also some water on roads. So first off, just off the bat, you need to make sure you're being prepared as you're heading out the door because you could be encountering that standing water. But more water is on the way. Now this morning we have a little bit of that break, but as we're heading into the midday hours, that's when we start to see another round of rain come into our region to continue onto the already rain-covered area. Now let's talk about those temperatures though. Today we are looking much warmer than yesterday in the 30s, seeing upper 30s traveling more towards that Tennessee-Kentucky border. 41 degrees in Jacksboro, and take a look at Harlan, 44. Here are those afternoon high temperatures as we head into the rest of your day, looking in the 50s. 53 for Manchester, 50 for London, 55 even as you're traveling towards Jacksboro. Next couple hours, here's how you'll end up to that high temperature of the day. By the time we're getting to 4 o'clock, 52 degrees. Amelia.
Thank you, Megan. Well, two apparent child abduction attempts in Perry County left folks on high alert. Officials say a man reportedly tried to lure boys between 11 and 13 into a red Chevy, but was not successful. Now they are urging parents to talk to their kids. The school safety coordinator for Perry County Schools says the district has numerous safety measures in place, including locked doors, strict visitor rules, and easy access to high-definition cameras throughout the district.
To be loud if somebody is trying to grab a hold of a kid and to scream, but is to try to report as soon as they can to us so that we can report it to authorities.
Anyone with information regarding the attempted abductions is asked to contact the Perry County Sheriff's Office. Kentucky lawmakers are working together to ensure student athletes are protected on and off the field. Madison Carmouche explains changes to the student athlete consent form introduced in the legislature.
Each year, participating Kentucky student athletes must complete a consent form. If Senate Bill 120 is passed into law, it will include specific guidelines for students reporting abuse and coaches who believe abuse is happening.
Because often what we find in these situations is there's someone who says, you know, I wish I would have taken action sooner. I thought that there was something that wasn't right. And so by giving people tools and information, hopefully we can help keep kids safe.
Senator Cassie Chambers Armstrong and Senator Stephen West are the co-sponsors of the bill and say it will highlight the legal obligations of mandated reporters in the Commonwealth.
This just adds some provisions to the existing consent form. And I'll just read from the bill. A student athlete may report instances of child dependency, neglect, and abuse to any adult. Any person who knows or has reasonable cause to believe that a child is dependent, neglected, or abused shall report that information.
Kentucky High School Athletic Association Commissioner Julian Tackett says he believes the bill will give athletes another layer of security because many of them look to their coaches for guidance.
I think the problem is that I don't think everybody knows their responsibility. The problem is not necessarily that there's too much abuse going on. We don't know that, but there is an education problem.
Senators Chambers, Armstrong, and West say they are glad party lines do not impact the safety of Kentucky children. Madison Carmouche, WKYT.
Senate Bill 120 is expected to be heard in the Senate Education Committee later on this week. Kentucky Public Schools could lose state funding over the next few months due to a $14.7 million shortfall. Yesterday, lawmakers in Frankfort got an update on the Supporting Education Excellence in Kentucky, or SEEK funding. Members of the House Budget Review Subcommittee heard concerns that inaccurate data and estimates during the 2022 budget process led to those shortfalls. Lawmakers now have two options: adjust the current state budget to make up the difference, or focus school districts to make their own cuts.
So it would the cut would show up in April, May, and June in their payments this year. So they're going to have to adjust their budget right now. And obviously they've signed contracts. They're well into the fiscal year. So making that cut, for some districts, it may be a hiccup. For others, it may be pretty rough.
KDE is still gathering some last pieces of data to nail down the final number. The final calculation is due on March 1st. With President Donald Trump talking about dismantling the federal Department of Education, some folks are worried about student loans. The department oversees $1.6 trillion of student loan debt. Dismantling it would take an act of Congress, but CBS News business analyst advises borrowers to be ready in case there is a disruption with the agency's website. She says it's very important to be able to prove that you've been paying your loans.
I'm directing everyone go to studentaid.gov, that's the federal website, and you want to start to actually grab the screenshot of all the information that is there. So that could be the loan amount, how much you've paid in, that could be the interest rate, that could be when it's due, and I think these are critical action steps to take to protect yourself.
She also advises that all borrowers should change passwords frequently, use two-factor authentication, download their records, and to even use autopay. Well, school districts are feeling the effects of missing class because of the weather. A long list of schools canceled yesterday and today for those weather issues. Districts only get 10 non-traditional instruction days. In Magoffin County, Superintendent Chris Meadows says they've missed 21 days this year for weather. 11 days were spent closed altogether. He says when school is out, students are not learning.
I think that it's exhausting anytime we stray from routine and structure.
Proposed House Bill 241 would let districts add time to school days to make up those missed days. The Education Commissioner would also be able to waive up to 5 instruction days. There have been no votes on this so far. A new task force that plans to shed new light on federal secrets was announced yesterday on Capitol Hill. WYMT's Washington correspondent Stetson Miller tells us more about what it could release.
Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna says this task force will give Americans answers they deserve and will declassify information about the JFK assassination, 9/11, the origins of COVID-19, and more. For the next 6 months, a bipartisan group of members of Congress will work to declassify and investigate what's being called information of national interest to restore trust in the government through transparency.
For too long, the American spirit has been dimmed by a veil of secrecy, by a government that has grown too comfortable in the shadows, denying us the transparency we deserve. But today, we stand at the dawn of a new era where the light of truth begins to shine through.
Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna will lead the group, the task force on the declassification of federal secrets. It will investigate declassified material about the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., following President Trump's executive order on those records. They'll also look into the Jeffrey Epstein client list, the COVID-19 origins, the 9/11 files, and what most people call UFOs.
This will no longer be a task force that makes bold promises only to fade into irrelevance or send strongly worded letters. This will be a relentless pursuit of truth and transparency, and we will not stop until the American people have the answers they deserve.
In Washington, I'm Stetson Miller.
A new bill proposed in Washington would allow cigar bars in Kentucky to get around local indoor smoking bans. House Bill 211 would allow people to smoke inside designated cigar bars with some rules laid out. It does not allow smoking of vapes or e-cigarettes in the bar. only cigars. All customers must be 21 or older. There must be a smoke-free space for deliveries, and the cigar bar must make sure smoke does not pass through shared walls or even into nearby businesses. County road aid funds have been awarded to Owsley County. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says the Owsley County Fiscal Court will get nearly $19,000 to repair a slide on Left Fork Cow Creek Road. They say the slide will be repaired for the intersection of Hall Branch Road, with the Owsley County Fiscal Court in charge. When we return, you may see some pain in your pocketbook as you look to buy chocolate for that special someone.
And I'll have another update on this week's rain chances.